Hello everyone. Happy Tuesday. If you don't know who I am Cherie Styles, CEO and founder of Where Your Confidence. And this is the Confidence Corner, which is a platform for girls and women to discuss everyday situations, life, and how we conquer it with boldness and confidence. And so this mini series we have, or the topic has been millennials making moves. And when I thought of this topic, the person that came to mind, one of the people that came to mind was Shannelle. And it just popped up. She just was sharing with the world how she had just got a new job at HBO. And I said, yup, yes, let's do it.
Awesome.
Which is funny because we went to high school together.
Yes. I feel like we went to elementary together too, did we? Might have.
I'm okay.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yes, it's a long time.
Way back, way back. Um, but then I saw her post saying that she was just got hired at HBO Max in California. And those of you who know me, y'all know that California is like where my heart is. I just love it. I just love the weather. I'm just a big fan of the weather. And when I saw that, I'm just like, oh yes, we have to talk about this. She's a millennial, she's making moves, and now she's here. And so for those of you who are just tuning in, you can go ahead and share the stream. Also at the end of tonight's girl chat session, I do have an awesome surprise for all of you that's going on with Where Your Confidence. Super excited about it, and I'll let you all in with the inside scoop. So now that all that is out of the way, Shannelle, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, of course, of course, of course. So let's just start with like, we know you're a millennial. We see that you're a young Black woman doing some things. What is it that you do at HBO Max?
Okay, this is a loaded question. So HBO Max, essentially it is a startup. It's a new streaming service, similar to like a Netflix or, what have you. And so, yeah, I got hired as the manager of design management. So essentially what that means is I work with our design team and helping them manage all of the creative assets that we produce to go in conjunction with HBO Max. So whether it's on the site, whether it's social media posts, whether it's different advertisements that we place on different websites, I'm working with those designers to make sure that they have everything they need to produce some great creative for the world to see, and that we're getting it out on time and all of that good stuff. So, yeah.
Sounds like a lot.
Yes.
Sounds like a lot. So you're like, so pretty much you're in charge of things. You're running things, and people are coming.
Trying.
Awesome. Oh, awesome. Good stuff. That seems like a lot of pressure. So from working at home, you're not really interacting with people face to face. Are you doing a lot of Zoom calls and things like that?
That's my life, my entire life. The funny thing about it is I got hired with HBO Max in the middle of all of this pandemic, Corona. So I got hired in May, and so I literally have not seen any of my coworkers in person. I don't know their height. I don't know anything about them. So it's literally just been me online all day, whether it is video calls or we use like a Slack messaging service, but it's around the clock in my computer all day.
So
Yeah.
do you feel that's been good, bad, indifferent as far as like being in charge of a new division, a new department, and not meeting people face to face?
It's definitely challenging, I would say, because I'm a people person and I like I'm the person that's going to get up and go knock on your office if I have a question, your office door if I have a question. I'm the one that's walking around the office and having those personable interactions. So it is definitely challenging. But I will say that, it's proven to me what I'm able to do, because when you're trying to manage multiple projects at one time and all you have is your computer and Slack, and you're trying to call over Slack, and you don't really have the freedom or the luxury to get up and get a quick answer, it is a lot more pressure and it is a lot more steps you need to take in order to get things done. But I feel like a boss because I've been doing it. So it feels good that I know, like, oh, okay, you got this. You can survive in a pandemic, no problem. So yeah.
Nice. So what have you been doing to like encourage yourself? I know you just said like I got this. So how
Mm-hmm.
has what is your self-talk like?
That just like that. I'm telling you, I mean, and honestly, this job, I knew it was going to be challenging because it's a step up from where I previously was at my old job, and getting hired and not being in the office to have like proper training or anything like that is kind of just like, hey, this is what you need to do. Let's figure it out. I had to tell myself multiple times, like, you got it. It's fine. You're qualified. I don't think they would have hired you if you weren't. You
Right?
just have to see what they see. And so as long as I keep reminding myself of that, it gets easier and it gets easier. And then I'm a firm believer that the more you say something, the more it is. So I say it, I say it, I say it, and now I'm at the point where it's like, oh, I got it. It's fine. And I really feel that. So it's true.
Awesome. I love that so much. Last week I had another young lady on and she was saying the same thing,
Mm.
just putting it out there. She was talking about vision boards and just putting it out there. And a year ago to the day it was, she had talked herself into her new position.
Oh, yes, that's my life. I am a manifester. I have been doing this since I was about 19 years old. I manifested myself into the entertainment industry. I manifested this job. I manifested my move to LA. I have a video on my page that I posted maybe about 3 months ago.
I did see
Uh-huh.
I was watching. I was one of those like, let me see what she's talking about. Mhm.
Yes, in that video, I was talking about manifesting. And in the video, I said something like, I tell myself all the time, like, oh, my bathroom in my apartment in LA is going to be so big, it's going to be so bomb. And I was like, I don't live in LA, I live in New York. And literally 3 months later, I got a job in LA. Now I am moving to LA. So that's what I live by. You got to speak your goals into existence.
Yep. Speaking life, not over just your goals, but out over like how you just go about your everyday life, like speaking life into your life. Um,
Exactly. Exactly. It's so important. It really is.
and as a young African American female in this industry, what are some issues that you've come across and
Mm.
how have you gotten over them?
You know what? I would say honestly, with any Black woman that's in corporate America, yes, I work in the entertainment industry, but it's still corporate America. So any Black woman that's in corporate America, I think we all kind of come across the same issues in a way, where you're walking into an office and it may not be a bunch of people that look like you, or you're walking into spaces, whether it's your office or someone else's, and you're walking into spaces and the people may not look like you, and just being able to be comfortable with that. But I've learned that there's a balance between being comfortable with it, but also being comfortable with yourself. I think when I was telling this story a while ago too, when I first moved to New York and I started working at the old company I was at, I remember when I went for the interview, I'm like, okay, let me straighten my hair because this big curly hair, I don't want to go into the interview with this, with this. Let me straighten it, pull it back, let me look professional. And I went about that all wrong. And so I think my biggest challenge has been finding the balance between being okay as a Black woman in predominantly white spaces, and also at the same time understanding that my comfortability is the only comfortability that matters. So, it's been a struggle, but I'm finally getting into that that space where it's just like, y'all gonna get this fro, point blank. Y'all gonna get this fro. Y'all gonna get these twists. Y'all gonna get these box braids. Y'all gonna get all of this beautiful blackness. But that's definitely been my biggest struggle, was just being comfortable.
I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of times I know when I would go on interviews, my mom was like, "What are you doing with your hair?"
Uh-huh.
It's like, but I was gonna wear it with the curl. She said, "No, slick it back." I'm like, okay. And
Uh-huh.
it's just things that have been like instilled in our heads that look professional, but in the in the society that we live in, we're judged off of how we look, and first impressions are everything.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll polish it up now when I get in
Mhm.
the door. Hello, this is me.
Exactly. But
It's
you know
me.
what? I'm learning that I'm not even going to polish it when I get to the door, because I want you to know exactly what you're going to get.
Right.
And I feel like, especially in the times that we're in right now, it's so important to embrace everything about yourself and not feel as though you have to change, or you have to put on an act for other people to feel comfortable. And so that's been, I'm proud of myself now, because going into this new job, y'all got this fro, you got all of this, because I want it to be known up front that, I'm going to be comfortable regardless, and so I try to tell that to, like, my mentees now that are coming out of college and they're applying to jobs, and they're like, all right, well, let me just get it together. And I'm like, who you are is enough. Your qualifications to speak for itself. You know what you're doing. You have the skill set. Don't feel as though you have to Debbie down who you are, or your image for anything. So
I like that. I like it a lot. And I agree 100%. So with that being said, like, how has your confidence journey been?
it's been tough, honestly. I mean, it's been really tough. I think for me, it's one of those things where I started off in this industry when I was 19. And so, when you're that young and you're working around a lot of people who may be older than you and more experienced than you, it's easy to feel like, do I really belong here? And so I remember that being my thought process when I first started off. Even the way I started, I was just like, I don't, y'all might have made a mistake. I don't really know. I don't know if y'all meant for me to be up in here. So, but throughout the years, and as I started getting job after job, and my career kept progressing, and I kept moving up the ladder, eventually I had to realize, like, maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe, maybe they're on to something. But it's definitely been tough getting there. It's been a lot of growing pains. It's been a lot of mistakes. It's been a lot of just self sabotage. But I got there eventually.
Yeah. So let's talk. We said self-sabotage. So what happened? You didn't think that you would belong, and so you would do things purposely to.
You know what? It's so funny. I don't think I've ever told this story. Great time. Um, so when I first started my career, I started off. I was 19. I started off at BET Networks, and at the time, I was still a student at Howard University, and so I was trying to juggle going to work full time at BET and then also going to class.
Wow.
But for me, it was like, oh, I work at BET. What? You know what I mean? I had that thing about me where it was like, y'all can't tell me nothing. I work at BET, whatever. And I took that energy into the office. And so it was, I'm realizing now that it was me trying to overcompensate for what was an insecurity, because I didn't feel as though I belonged there. But in the process of me overcompensating, I wasn't in a space to learn. I was too arrogant. I wasn't in a space to receive. I was too busy. Oh, I could do it. Oh, I got it. I'm young. I'm in the door. When did you get hired? Well, I've been here, like I was too, I was arrogant. And so eventually I stayed at BT for 3 years, but eventually, and at the time I was a freelance employee, so it wasn't like a staff position, so they could let you go at any point. So after 3 years, they was like, yeah, we're good. And I remember crying my eyes out. But even back then, I still was pointing the finger. I still was blaming, well, oh, it's because of this and it's because of that. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized that you know, I wasn't comfortable with myself at the time, and so I was allowing that to mess up opportunities that were in front of me. So I definitely self-sabotaged before.
Understood, understood. And so, like, as you're talking, I'm hearing that there has to be a balance between, you
Mhm.
know, your confidence and your cockiness. You
Yes.
have to truly like believe that you belong, you know, where you
Mhm.
are. And then there has to be a point where it's like, okay, I feel insecure, but I'm not going to
Mhm.
overcompensate and act like I have it all together when I really don't.
Yes, honestly, and I think it boils down to, you know, a true confident person is someone who is confident because they know that they were first a student, you know? Like it's almost like going and you're taking a test. If you know you studied the night before, you're going in confident because you know you got it regardless. When you leave, you know you got an A. You know if you passed the test or not when you leave that room. Whether it was an A plus or A minus, you know if you passed the test. Whereas somebody who is not prepared and who is not ready, they're walking into it and they're, you know, doing C for all their answers and they're walking out like, oh, well, maybe I passed, but they're not going to tell you that. They're going to be like, oh, I should have passed. Well, I studied all night. It's about being a student first. And when I realized that, it allowed me to receive information. It allowed me to look at my peers as not as competition or to look at my mentors as not as someone trying to tell me what to do. It's me
Right.
looking at them and saying, "Oh, well you've been in this company for 20 years. You must be doing something right. Let me stick by you." Or, "Hey, you are my peer, but you got here too and I'm here. What do you know that I don't? How can we learn from each other?" Once I opened that up, then I realized what real confidence was. Confidence is knowing you can do the job because you've learned, because you were taught, because you received information. Arrogance is when you don't know nothing, but you trying to pretend. And so once you learn the difference between the two, I feel like it becomes a lot easier, and then the balance kind of it manages itself, you know?
Yes, for sure. And plus, when you overcompensate and the arrogance starts to like take over, people can tell.
Yes.
People can
Oh my
tell
God.
a fake
Yes.
and phony from a mile away, and no one wants to be involved with that. Like, you can't be a millennial making moves and you're phony.
You can't.
You'll be a
It's
millennial stuck in the mud. That's what you'll
there
be.
you
You know
go.
what I mean?
Exactly. And you
Cannot.
don't grow that way. You don't grow that way. Every opportunity I've had has been based off of the relationships I've built along the way. Every single one. Even when I first got into the industry, it was because I had became friends with someone who worked at Apple with me. We worked at the Apple store. And
Mm,
little did I know that BET was his client. If it wasn't for me building that relationship, I would never have gotten into the door. And then I would have never gotten here where I am now if it wasn't for those relationships. And when you're arrogant, you're not able to build solid foundations. You're not able to build those relationships because nobody want to talk to you. Nobody want to be around you acting like that, you know? So,
exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
So relationships are key. From
Mm,
what I'm hearing, relationships are key into helping you get to where it is that you want to be. That is
yeah.
so important. A lot of people are thinking, oh, I can make it on my own. Or,
Mhm.
you know, a lot of times when I was trying to get into the entertainment industry, I had one news anchor told me, she said, well, you're just gonna have to go out into Pittsburgh and get a job out there, and then you know hope that you can get it into New York or Philadelphia. I said,
What?
oh my gosh, like I felt like that big, and I'm just like, okay, I wasn't asking for your job. I was
Hmm.
still in college. I was just trying to have a conversation to
Yep.
see, how did you get to where
Hmm.
you were? And I don't know if she was just bitter because of her path
Yeah.
let me in on anything, but I said, wow, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? Unfortunately, you're gonna meet more people like that than you are gonna meet the genuine ones. But you know what? That's why I say go into the door who you are because I've never approached a situation or any relationship that I cherish. I've never approached it like I want to know you because you are this person. It's literally always been a genuine friendship that was found. My mentor, I call her my big sister because I've literally slept on her couch in DC. I slept on her couch in New York when I first got started, you know, and she's a high level person at BET, but she took me under the wing. And I remember at first I was sitting off by my side by myself and I didn't talk to her. She came and sought me out and we became friends. So it's all about genuine relationships, you know? You can't go in it like, oh, I need to know this person in order to get here. You have to go in it being yourself. And that's how you come out with genuine relationships and that's how you grow and you eventually climb up the ladder.
I love it. You're dropping so many nuggets here. So in order to be a millennial who's making moves, you have to, one, know who you are. Be yourself is what I'm hearing. Be yourself and then build relationships, but genuine relationships. Like no one has time for the fake. Don't put on a facade. Just be yourself.
Yep.
Normally myself likes to just sit and just be by myself.
And that's me. I'm telling you. Listen, I have two sides to me. I'm quiet, but once I start. But it takes someone to get me started, you know? So yeah.
Be yourself and be cool with it. That's another thing. Just be cool with it. Because I heard you say earlier, which I agree with 110,000%, is what just happened? I just lost it just like that.
It happens.
Just flew away. All right, that was good. Oh, you're good enough. You're good enough. It came back.
Yes.
Like, wait, what? You are good enough. Realizing that you are good enough.
Yes.
That's it. And that you are enough.
That's the key right there. And that's probably the hardest one. But once you conquer that part of it, you have the cheat code.
That's awesome. So what is some advice that you would give to a young lady or anyone who's trying to get into your field? Let's just say a young lady.
I would say, you know what? It's so much. It's so much. I would honestly say don't feel as though anything is beneath you, you know? And again, this is me speaking from experience. I I remember it was a point in time where I was looking at my career and I was looking at my age and I'm like, oh, I should be doing this. Why am I not at this level yet? And I remember getting offered jobs, freelance gigs, and me saying, turning them down because I felt like, oh, I'm past that stage. I'm past this. When in reality, you know, sometimes you have to do what you have to do. I have worked for free. Once I got let go fired from BET, I got a free an unpaid internship at Sony Music. And the position was in New York and I was living in Pennsylvania. And I got up every morning at 4 a.m., caught the mega bus to Pennsylvania to intern at Sony Music. I was an let me in the building every morning to get past security. And I did that for months and it was free. And I moved back home with my mom. So I went from working at BT to making good money to receiving unemployment, living with my mom and commuting from Philadelphia to New York every day. But because I didn't feel as though that was beneath me, that led to a paying job. And then that led to a paying job. And then, you know, it just kind of everything fell into place. So I would honestly say, like, don't feel as though anything is beneath you. Take every opportunity that comes your way because even if it's work that you feel like I'm not supposed to be doing, there's someone in that building that you're supposed to know. So think of it that way. I may be past this PA position, this production assistant position, but there's a producer working on this show that I should probably know if I want to be a producer. That's the best advice I can give.
That is so good. Listen here, do not think you are too high and mighty. Okay.
No, you can't. Not especially not in entertainment. I mean, I can't speak for other industries, but when it comes to entertainment, you could be a producer one day and the next day you are a coordinator. It is what it is. Sometimes you just have to take it as it comes, you know? You just have to.
I hear you. This is so good. You are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. It is phenomenal. So, really quickly, this series is called Millennials Making Moves. you're about to make a huge, huge move. Like you're going from East Coast to the West Coast. What's gonna be like your, I guess maybe your mantra or your theme music to help you with this move, with this new phase, this new chapter?
I can't think of the person who sings the song, but it's a gospel song that I've had on a repeat ever since I got this job. And it is, "This is my season for grace, for favor.
Yes.
This is my season to reap the seeds that I've been sowing." So that has been on loop. And I keep telling myself, to me, that's just my constant reminder that you belong here. You belong in this space. Everything that is coming your way is for you because you've worked for it. And I keep telling myself that, and I keep telling myself that as I'm packing my clothes. I'm just like, because sometimes doubt can creep in, like, oh, if I move to LA and something happens and my mom's not there and I don't know anybody in LA and it's just me. I keep that song on repeat just to remind myself that there's a purpose for this move. There's a purpose that you have gotten this job. And as long as I keep that at the top of my mind, I know I'm going to be okay. Even going to LA with no one, I know I'm going to be good.
That's awesome. I love that song too.
Yes, that is I can't, it's at the tip of my tongue.
It's a man.
It's a man. It's definitely a man. I just don't know which one right now. I'm going to find it and I'm going to text you.
Let me see. I'm trying to see if anyone on Facebook knows the name of the song. If y'all can remember the song, type it in so we can remember. I hate when that happens.
And as many times I listen to it, you would think.
Yeah, because it goes, everything is working together for your good.
Yes, yes, yes.
I love it. I love it. And you've definitely been sowing seeds. You've been sowing seeds, and you do deserve to be where you are. And I just know, keep that mindset, that positive reinforcement, canceling out that negative self-talk, that doubt that tries to keep in, ain't nothing but the devil. And listen, when I get to LA, we're gonna link up and all that good stuff.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. We're gonna do lunch after Corona leaves. When it decides to leave, we're gonna do all that good stuff.
So again, I want to thank you so much, Shannelle. You are phenomenal. Oh, they said William Murphy. That's it. Thank you, Cherise.
Oh my God, thank you. Oh, it was at the tip of my tongue.
I was like, it's a man.
Yes.
But yes, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in. So really quickly, next week, we're going to continue this Millennials Making Moves series, but it's going to be the wives edition. So I just finished this series with the young single ladies. Now we're going to be talking to wives and talking about how they deal and conquer, making moves, being entrepreneurs, as well as balancing being a wife. And I'm excited because I get to interview my sisters. So right after this, I'm going to share the flyer. I'll be interviewing Nakira, Shannelle, and Brittany. If you all have been following me, I did a panel with Shannelle. And so I'm going to be bringing her back on, and we're just going to be having girl talk. And I know that, like how you've received nuggets from this conversation, you will be receiving even more with them. And so make sure you stay tuned. I am super excited. Shannelle, thank you again so much. You are y'all. I'll be sure to keep in touch, and I'll be praying for your move and success and all of that.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Problem. Thank you all for tuning in on Facebook. Awesome. You guys are the best. So with that being said, have a good night. And as always, don't forget your confidence. Bye.
Bye.